Hello and welcome to Yodo. I'm Dr. Sarah Bohm. Today I'm providing a review of the 5 Wishes document. This is an example of one right here. This is not a sponsored video. 5 Wishes didn't sponsor it, Aging with Dignity, and it does not reflect the beliefs of any government, organization, or business. 5 Wishes is a short 11-page large print document to guide patients and their loved ones through the advanced care planning process. It is one of the most popular methods to review a person's wishes that's available in the United States, as it covers many topics and provides a way to capture the person's beliefs, thoughts, and feelings about many things. It's an outline for a living will that addresses medical, personal, spiritual, and emotional needs, thoughts, and beliefs. 5 Wishes provides a conversation guide for patients and their loved ones in an attempt to leave no stone unturned. 1 specifies the person to speak for the patient when they no longer can. The second wish elaborates on the kinds of medical treatments that are or are not wanted. Third wish delineates how comfortable the person is and how comfortable they would like to be, and it elaborates on what comfort means to the person. The 4th wish addresses how the person wants others to treat them, and the 5th wish outlines what they want their loved ones to know. 5 Wishes is intended to help a person and their loved ones by guiding a difficult conversation and providing a method to document those items in a living will. There have been significant advances in healthcare, and some of the procedures, technology, medications, and treatments that are available now are not accepted by everyone. Having clear conversations and providing these scenarios can give guidance that's needed to the surrogate. So there's an improved sense later on about what the patient's choices are and that those are to be followed. Without these difficult discussions, sometimes families are torn by their love and the desire for the person to be kept alive with unintentional disregard for the person's choices. These uncomfortable discussions can give the surrogate the strength they need to tell the healthcare team and the physicians that are involved the decisions that the patient would have wanted. To me, there's no greater demonstration of selfless love than to allow a person to have their voice heard when they can no longer interpret what is happening around them or their clinical situation, and they don't have the ability to voice their preference, their beliefs about those choices that they're being faced with. When a person becomes unable to interpret their surroundings or make their needs known, and it is unlikely for them to regain that capacity due to the severity of their advanced stage of their illness, that voice of the patient needs to really come through loud and clear in those situations. The question we're going to ask the surrogate or the family, if a surrogate has not been designated, is what would the patient say if they could understand what is happening now? It is key for all to remember that the direction of the care is made by the patient. The decisions are made by the patient, but it could be through the voice of the surrogate. When the patient is unable to provide those interactions, that's when the responsibility of the surrogate is to say, they told me that they would have wanted XYZ. It is not the surrogate or the decision of the loved ones. They are to respect and uphold what the patient would have wanted. Each patient should be allowed to choose for themselves. It would be a tremendous burden indeed to make those choices regarding life-sustaining treatments without such guidance. Unfortunately, it does happen, and it is heart-wrenching. Keep in mind that 5 Wishes is a document that can be changed. It's paper, not stone. It is natural that as time passes, disease advances, and changes in perspective occur, the beliefs, goals, and hopes may change. My Hope Talk includes that hope itself is living and changes throughout our life. It's normal for hopes to change over time. We need to allow for the hope to change over time. Let's look at wish number 1. Who's going to be the healthcare surrogate? That's the person designated to be the spokesperson for the patient. This should be someone that you respect, someone that you trust to make the choices that you would want. Someone with enough love for you and strength to state your desires when that may not be what they would want for you or for themselves if the situation were reversed. The healthcare surrogate will be the one to listen as you would listen, discuss with the healthcare team as you would discuss with them, the outcome, burden, recovery, and what various treatments are being offered. The person needs to be 18 years or older, and it needs to be someone that knows you well. Sometimes it is family. For others, it's a loved one that's not kin or relative in any way. Ideally, it's someone that you and the healthcare team can reach at any time, and it would be nice if they live nearby, but that is not a requirement. For sure, it's someone that you've had these types of conversations with about these various scenarios and this type of information. Avoid choosing your boss, supervisor, employee, and avoid choosing your healthcare provider. It shouldn't be your doctor, a nurse, or any employee of a community living facility if you're living in a care-provided environment. If you're living in a nursing home, don't choose the administrator or owner of that facility. If you're using a proxy, it's advised that the person has fewer than 10 other people that they serve as surrogate for. Find someone that has a personal relationship with you that you can discuss these difficult topics with that will allow you to speak openly and honestly, and they'll respect your choices. This person will be the one that gives direction to the healthcare team when you no longer understand your situation about what's happening, your disease, or your choices. They will listen to and discuss with the healthcare team and make the decisions that you would make about tests, medications, surgeries, life-sustaining treatments, nursing home care, and they can accept hospice on your behalf. Thus, they truly need to know how you want to be cared for at the end of life. It is true, we are mortal, we are going to die, and it's important for our loved ones to know how we want to be cared for when that time nears. This person is allowed to hire and fire services that you might need. They have access to your medical information to make your decisions that you would want. So they have to be able to authorize or refuse different interventions. You will want more than one name and phone number for your healthcare surrogate and ranking them as first, second, and third. Where I work, we ask for 2, but we prefer 3. Consider if one of your agents themselves is unavailable or has an issue. If that happens, it becomes the next person on the list. They become the primary healthcare surrogate. The healthcare surrogate is designated by you, and a healthcare surrogate can decline that responsibility when the time comes, but they cannot reassign it to someone else. Wish number 2 is about kinds of medical treatments that you would or would not want. It is necessary to discuss this so your healthcare surrogate knows. No one should make you feel guilty about what you want. It's okay to want to be comfortable. It is not weakness to want to be comfortable as end of life approaches. My goodness, it must be frightening. I have seen it many times, but I've never experienced it myself. I've gone through it with people that I'm close to, with family and friends, and certainly with patients, but I can't imagine what thoughts occur in a person's mind when they face a life-limiting illness and find that their quality of life is decreasing and their pain is increasing. Wish number 2 covers comfort, food, fluids, being kept clean and warm, and it specifies beliefs about care as death nears. It helps the person express their thoughts on what life support means to them. It allows for the person to express their religious or personal beliefs and have those limitations placed under certain circumstances. It reviews CPR, ventilators, blood transfusions, feeding tubes, dialysis, even antibiotics and major surgeries can be addressed under this wish. For many people, they never considered these uncomfortable topics, so they're not really sure how they feel. For most of us, we're consumed with the overwhelming thought that I don't want to die. The reality is that for most people, we're not talking about what's going to happen today, tonight, this weekend, or even this next month. These things may seem hypothetical, but they do represent circumstances of treatment that occur at the very end of life. Thus, it is important for everyone to keep in mind that if something is so wrong that these procedures are needed, it is pretty much sure that it's a devastating healthcare situation, and the likelihood of complete and full recovery may not be very good. Therefore, quality of life and what is important to the person takes on significant meaning. Much more significant meaning. Under what circumstances would these treatments be acceptable? Is there a quality of life that's a must? Is the ability to ambulate or communicate of significant importance? What about the ability of self-care or to live in one's own home? If the outcome might be rehab stays and then still unlikely to ever return to their own private residence or care for themselves in any environment and would be needing total care, is that still going to be acceptable? What about not being able to read a book, change the channel on the television, bicker with relatives, tell someone that you love them, or even recognize the significance of being hugged. How would that affect your choices? These are the topics and the discussions, and it's the information that the healthcare surrogate needs. Wish number 2 covers the choices regarding coma, having brain damage, and leaves space for someone to express under what circumstances the person would not want to be kept alive longer, but might prefer to be allowed to have a natural, non-machine death with comfort-focused care. Wish number 3 offers pre-printed suggested items regarding requests for comfort, and the person can simply cross out items or change the ones that they don't agree with. Possibly being kept comfortable is okay even if they're a little bit sleepy, but for others, they may want to allow for a little bit of discomfort in an attempt to remain awake. Keep in mind that these are circumstances where the patient is unable to interpret their surroundings or make their needs known, because if the patient is able to communicate, the healthcare team is always going to ask them. So if the patient is uncomfortable and restless in bed, or has grunting or facial grimacing, would the person want to be provided comfort and be allowed to sleep? So this document gives direction for when the person appears to be suffering and can't give any instruction. Other items in this wish are about bathing, being kept clean from personal soil, being cared for with warm baths, oral care, massage, being shaved, having nail care, and their hair combed, being offered palliative care, symptom management, and even accepting hospice. Wish number 4 is how the person wants others to treat them, being visited or not, being left alone or having company as time becomes short. For some people, they may want to have company that entire time. Others may prefer quiet solitude and privacy, possibly having someone to talk with them when they are unable to respond, having someone hold their hand, being visited by people, allowing for prayer by a layperson or a chaplain, or specifying clergy of their religion, leaving instruction if music is to be played and what those choices would be, if the TV is to be left on. I think I want Disney movies left on loop with Sammy Hagar to sing I Can't Drive 55 and Life's Been Good to Me by Joe Walsh. Some may request the home environment be the preferred location when the hour of death comes, and others may not have a preference. The last wish, wish number 5, specifies what the person wants their loved one to know. Again, there are several items offered, and these can be crossed out or disregarded or altered. It is offered to remind loved ones that they care for them and that they've had a significant impact in their life. There's an item requesting forgiveness by loved ones, and one to remember who and what they were before they became ill and these changes occurred. Another comment is for their loved ones to respect their wishes even if they don't agree. This 5th wish provides the loved ones to know how the person wants the body to be cared for after death and allows for communication about funeral preferences or memorial services. The last few pages of the booklet are for signing of the document by the person and the witnesses. There's even a place for the document to be notarized. It may not be legal in your state, so please check on that. The 5 wishes seems to me to be a tremendous asset and guide for people. These are such difficult topics and not something that we discuss every day. Having this so well organized and setting aside a specific time to review this is a must for persons with serious illness. And it's not necessarily a one and done, but you can review this again if there's another change in the patient's health. I suggest that this not be limited to just the person with the illness and just the people of the family, but for that person with a serious illness, their significant other, and each of the healthcare surrogates that are listed in the document. They should all review this and complete this workbook. There are other documents available for this type of activity, and we will review some of these others also. We have already had a specific request to review something similar that can be used for these types of conversations and how to record this information. If you've used 5 wishes or some other form to guide these type of discussions, please drop a comment below and let us know if you found it helpful or not. These are serious discussions and certainly not easy, but definitely necessary. We don't know if we don't ask. These are the choices of the patient, and they must be respected by the healthcare team, and so that's why we have to ask. We know that these are difficult to talk about, but we must know. So we need the healthcare surrogate to provide us with the answers to these very difficult questions when these circumstances of end of life near. The patient needs the support of their loved ones with the respect of their choices. Thank you for being here and to learn about these difficult topics. If there's something that you would like to learn about or hear more on, please drop a comment below. On a personal note, I am grateful for your concerns about my injury. I'm happy to share that my hand continues to heal. I appreciate your time. Thanks again. Bye now.